My name is Dr. Catherine Hughes from Crime Psych. This video, I asked one of my friends who they thought I should analyse next, and they said Will Smith, which I jokingly replied, yeah, sure, it's a done deal. But then I actually started to look into Will Smith and exactly what happened and what life events had led him to that point. I very quickly realised that that isn't something that I could easily research in 1 week or cover in just a short video like that. There is so much going on. There are so many different factors in his life. And there have been arguments in support and in condemnation of both sides of it. On top of that, there's the setting in which he chose to do that, in front of millions of people, recorded on TV. So to start with then, I'm just going to strip all that fame and celebrity status away for just a minute. A man who loves his wife gets upset about another man who's making a joke about a condition that his wife has. In that situation, I think most people can relate, perhaps even agree with him being a fierce defender of his wife's honour. However, as many other people have said, a person's words should never bring about a violent response in retaliation. But then I asked myself, was this type of reaction typical of that husband in the past? And of course the answer is no. Otherwise we'd be seeing him on the front page of the internet all the time, loads of news stories about him. Therefore, I could only come to the conclusion that there was more besides that one problem in his life. It was simply the tip of the iceberg. And I think that's true for most of us. We see a person having a full-on meltdown or a rant in public. All we see is a person having a full-on meltdown or a rant in public. And we all see somebody behaving inappropriately or lashing out at somebody who really didn't deserve that. For example, a cashier, a waiter, a medical worker, and so on. In the past, I have spoken about mental health and social media and the pressures that a lot of younger people are under as a result of that. With the wide variety of social media platforms, there's an ever-increasing tendency for people to portray themselves a certain way or look a certain way. We often hold on to stereotypes and we have unattainable expectations, which leads to a lot of frustration. When it comes to celebrities acting out, such as Will Smith did, we don't know the full story of what else contributed to that outburst. Depression doesn't leave you alone if you pay it enough. Suicidal thoughts don't pass you by if you're in the spotlight smiling and laughing in public. These people go home at night and they read such hateful comments written by faceless, unaccountable people over the internet. They read negative things about themselves in the media. And depression doesn't always look sad, and somebody doesn't have to cry all the time. I follow an American woman on TikTok who does cleaning and organising videos. She responds to people who ask her how she keeps her house and her kids so clean with 2 young children living there. And she always answers them really honestly. But then a few days ago, someone had posted a negative comment calling her privileged and saying that she could do all this because she had the privilege of being in the home and having the finances. She responded to that video with her crying, talking about her own struggles with mental health and her past. You don't know everything that's going on in a person's life that led them to that point. Those who write nasty comments or target specific people online never come face to face with those that they're directing their anger at. There are no consequences for their behaviour either. Some of you might be thinking, well, Will Smith knows that he influences the behaviour of thousands and accepts that he will come under scrutiny. When it comes to the psychology of behaviour, we're all the same. We respond, we react, we have public meltdowns, we have thousands of people telling you what they think that you should do or what they think you should say. Being a celebrity doesn't mean that you can always think and react calmly before lashing out. I've seen people make comments about their open relationship and finding it funny that his wife can have sexual intercourse with another man and Will Smith doesn't get mad, but he does get mad over a comment that somebody says towards her. We, as a society, seem to have regressed in our ability to empathise with others. We have access to people who are on social media, and we want the excitement and we want the entertainment without any insight into the person's life and what it's really like living day to day. To put it simply, we hold a stereotype and we condemn without knowing all the knowledge. Take a look at me, for example. You see Dr. Hughes is a criminal psychologist, and so she must have a lot of money and a nice house then, right? She must be happy with her life because she's always smiling. Yeah, I bet she hasn't struggled for anything in her life, right? I mean, after all, to do a PhD in the first place, you need to have a lot of money, don't you? So when the next weekly podcast isn't ready on time, or it's not ready when you expect it to be there, you might get annoyed or frustrated because you were looking forward to it, right? You can call her boring and say that she sounds like Spock, but that one I really did particularly enjoy that one. However, you don't know me. You don't know the reasons that are behind the reason why the podcast is delayed. The reason my podcasts have been delayed lately is because I'm looking after my mum who has cancer. I grew up in a deprived area and my parents aren't rich at all. I did my PhD on a scholarship. I've struggled with finances, bringing 2 boys up on my own as a single mum. You might know that I've been in an abusive relationship, but you might not know that as a result of that, I never feel like what I'm doing is enough. You might not know that my son received a diagnosis of autism at 30 years of age, which causes endless feelings of guilt within me because I feel that I should have known. I often feel inadequate, and your comments that you write might be enough to reduce me to tears that day. So going back to Will Smith, none of us really know the struggles that he's experiencing. But this doesn't excuse, though, violence in any form. He was wrong. But on the other hand, show me a person who's never made a mistake in their life, and I'll show you a liar. On the face of it, he was defending his wife's honour over a condition that she might have felt very sensitive over. They may have an open relationship and both of them have had intercourse with other people, but that doesn't mean that he isn't going to feel anger at the one thing that's pushed him over the edge that day. Just because a person is in the public eye, it doesn't exclude them from having the same struggles and emotions as everybody else. Be kinder to each other and try and treat people how you would like to be treated. Keep in mind that one little thing could cause a person to react, but you have no idea how many other little things that they're dealing with in their lives. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm sorry I didn't give much of a psychological analysis of Will Smith, but there was too much information to go on, and I quite simply don't know all of the facts. I know what the media is telling me about him, and that's all. If you do want to support me on Patreon, all of the links to my website, to all the courses and ebooks that I do are in the video description. Thank you so much for joining me today anyway. Bye for now.